state regime media, which calls itself Fox News, is in full collapse as Trump propagandists made some of the most awful and humiliating television appearances on live TV to try to defend the disastrous war against Iran. They tried to pretend that everything is going exactly as planned. We knew the Strait of Hormuz was going to be shut down by Iran. Why do you think we invaded in the first place? What? If you read the New York Times, says the Trump regime propagandist, you would think that we were having trouble in this war when we are doing great and Iran is totally decimated and obliterated and they are begging for a deal. What are you talking about? We see Iran escalating right now, and we see the United States and Israel running out of munitions. That's just the undisputed facts. And so some of the Fox propagandists, they don't even want to be seen right now talking to some of these White House officials. So they had Lara Trump, Donald Trump's daughter-in-law, conduct the big interview with Karoline Leavitt, Donald Trump's chief propagandist, and this did not go well. This was one of the most humiliating interviews I've ever seen, and I would say that this is beyond parody, but I don't even want to tether this to anything humorous because this is a disastrous war, the biggest oil shock in the history ever of the world. We have 13 service members who have been killed in this war, with 200 injured, many more seriously wounded as well. We don't even know if those numbers are real because the Trump regime lies about everything. And with each passing day, the situation gets worse. Donald Trump's statements are more preposterous and outlandish and make the United States look weaker. Let me just go through this with you fact by fact, beat by beat, as we always do here on the MeidasTouch Network, so you can see the lies for yourself and I could call them out and fact check it in real time. So, Karoline Leavitt with Donald Trump's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, and Leavitt saying, it's abhorrent. Well, what's abhorrent? The war? The war is abhorrent. Is it abhorrent that you blew up an elementary school with Tomahawk missiles and you killed 150 little girls or more and then lied about it? Yeah, that's what's abhorrent. It's abhorrent, the conduct of the Trump regime. But she says it's abhorrent the way this is all being reported right now. She says, like, you have people speaking with CNN about that we were ill prepared for Iran shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. We knew that would happen. Here, play this clip.
And we've been working 24/7 here at the White House to make sure the American people understand how much of a tremendous success this operation has been over the past 2 weeks. And it is abhorrent, some of the stories that are coming from the mainstream media. And these reporters run these anonymous sources as gospel truth without checking with the people who are actually in the room. And I'm speaking about a CNN story alleging that the administration was ill prepared for the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. That is unequivocally false. Let me be clear. The Pentagon has been accounting for this in their planning of this operation since the very beginning, and the administration is taking tangible steps to address it.
You knew that would happen? And you didn't want to talk to, I don't know, the Arab nations who were involved in all of these quid pro quo pay for play schemes with Donald Trump. You know, when you do a quid pro quo and a pay for play, the Arab nations, they were not building these Trump buildings there or giving the Trump family money for their crypto because they like you. I hate to break it to you. They thought that that's what they had to do based on what Trump said to get protection. But they didn't get protection. In fact, Donald Trump threw the entire Gulf and made it all engulfed in war right now. And nobody's going to Qatar right now. The tourism industry is dead. Who's going to Doha right now except for locals in Qatar? Say goodbye, Abu Dhabi. Donald Trump just wrecked the economies long term of these Middle East nations. And right now, Iran has never been more powerful in this region. That's just a fact. And you have all these nations basically trying to do bilateral deals with Iran while Donald Trump is out there ranting and raving like a lunatic. Oh, Iran wants to do a deal with us, but I just don't want to do a deal yet. No, they don't. Stop saying things like that. You just look stupider and weaker by the day. Then Karoline Leavitt is like, and shame on New York Times. You would think that Iran is crushing us based on what the New York Times is reporting. Here, play this clip.
Out of their story purposely, and we force them to issue a correction. So your audience needs to be mindful of what they are reading. And if you picked up the New York Times, you'd think that Iran is crushing the United States. It is quite the opposite.
Before we let you go,
Now, I want to be very clear. Is the United States and Israel bombing Tehran and Iran significantly? Absolutely. Not just Tehran. The major cities are getting hit hard. Also, the United States and Israel are blowing up like hospitals and elementary schools and desalination facilities and energy depots, turning the entire population that maybe if there was part of the population that could have supported the United States, they're now supporting the Ayatollah and rallying around the Ayatollah. But this is an asymmetrical warfare where attrition is going to be the key thing. And without any defined objectives, no one even knows why the hell we're in Iran in the first place, other than the fact that Netanyahu is going to invade first. And that's what Marco Rubio and Trump said originally was the reason we went and invaded Iran in the first place. But this is a battle, a war of attrition, and the U.S. is losing. With each day, Iran still has its drones and its ballistic missiles. It's still shooting and, in fact, escalating in the nearby nations. And the price of oil's out of control. America continues to lose more service members. This is a disaster. This is not going well. We just have to acknowledge what it is. And each day, Donald Trump takes steps to make it worse and worse and worse as he's trapped himself and the United States in such an obvious death trap following Netanyahu into Iran. It's absurd. The next question is, so what's your message, Karoline, to the people who are very concerned about gas prices? Give us your message. Here's what she says. Here, play this clip.
And this is a temporary short-term disruption in global oil prices that the president is ultimately going to rectify by wiping out the rogue Iranian terrorist regime. And the fact that the terrorists are holding the global oil industry hostage by threatening to shut down the Strait of Hormuz and traffic through the strait just underscores the need for President Trump to launch this operation in the first place. We cannot live in a world where we have radical Islamic terrorists threatening to hold the world's oil market and global economy hostage like this. So,
I mean, how disingenuous. This is just a temporary, short-term disruption. And doesn't this just show why we needed to go in the first place? If they can do this to the global economy, that's why we had to invade them. What kind of circular, non sequitur, illogical thing is that? We had to invade them, which they then retaliated and then caused the most major oil shock in the history of the world. And we had to do that to prove that they could do it. We invaded to prove that they had the capabilities of shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. And now we proved it. So, we did it. Mission accomplished. We showed that they have those capabilities. What in the world are you talking about here? More from Karoline Leavitt right here. And she's like, we can see that Iran's weakened actions speak for themselves, and they show how successful we are because they don't have ballistic missiles anymore. They don't have any type of drones anymore. We've eradicated, we've decimated it. Here's what she says.
Yeah, now just to get to Iran, the new supreme leader there supposedly told their Gulf neighbors that U.S. military bases needed to be removed from their countries. And another surviving senior leader addressed President Trump on X, writing, "Watch out for yourself, lest you be eliminated." So it's pretty clear this regime is trying, Karoline, to reestablish itself. But we also have people here in our own country who seem to be actively rooting against the success of this mission. I think it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, well, first of all, the Iranian regime, or what's left of it, and these radical terrorists are speaking a lot of empty words, but I think their weakened actions speak for themselves and underscore how successful this operation has been just 2 weeks in. We have totally annihilated the Iranian regime's navy. We've wiped out nearly almost all of their ballistic missile threat. In fact, ballistic missile attacks from Iran right now are down 90%. Their drone capabilities are down 95%. We have sunk more than 65 of their naval ships. We've hit more than 6,000 targets across the country. And it's a very big country. And we're going to continue this mission until all of the objectives that President Trump and the Secretary of War have laid out.
Again, Karoline, what the hell are you talking about? As Yaroslav Trofimov explained yesterday, just in the UAE in the past 24 hours, in the United Arab Emirates, okay? Iran fired 9 missiles, 7 the day before, 10 on Thursday, 13 on Wednesday, 8 on Tuesday. The tempo of Iranian missile attacks is essentially undiminished so far. And not only that, you have here's new news. The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad urged all American citizens to leave Iraq immediately on Saturday after that embassy was attacked. In the United Arab Emirates, their biggest oil depot was struck by Iran. And that's where we're at. I mean, I don't know what you mean when you say they've been decimated. They're continuing to strike all of their neighbors on a daily basis. And just look at what's happening in northern Israel. Iran, Hezbollah continue to bombard northern Israel and Tel Aviv as well with these drones and missiles. More from Karoline Leavitt right here, where she says, the release of the strategic, she finds a way to attack Biden. The release of strategic petroleum reserves that Trump is doing is great. We're showing how it's done, unlike Biden, who used it for election purposes. Stop bringing up Biden's name. For real, it's pathetic. Stop talking about Biden. Biden's not the president anymore, okay? Biden did not rush into a war against Iran or did not rush into any wars at all. Only thing Biden did was help Ukraine because that's what we should be doing, unlike Donald Trump, who's helping Russia right now, okay? And throwing Zelensky under the bus while Zelensky has the ability to have these drone interceptors and Zelensky's trying to help Donald Trump, saying, we don't need your help. It's like Trump's trying to lose the war. Here she manages to turn this against Biden. It's just loser. This is just loser behavior from a bunch of losers. Here, play this clip.
And then, of course, as you mentioned, the release of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which this president takes very seriously and is doing responsibly, unlike the last administration who abused the SPR for political reasons to try to artificially lower gas prices ahead of an election. That was despicable. This president takes it very seriously. We will refill the SPR as soon as this operation is over.
And then I'm not going to show you I'm not going to go into much more stuff about what they're doing on state regime media, but just to show you how ridiculous and absurd this propaganda is. Then you have Lara Trump. She brings on Ben Shapiro and she's like, what do you rank this war so far? And Donald Trump's invasion of Iran, what would you rank it? And Ben Shapiro's like, A+. I give it an A+. Definitely. This is amazing. This is exactly what we should be doing. Okay, if this is what you wanted, you think this makes us look like objectively, this is the weakest the United States has ever looked. You have all of our allies right now saying the United States is unable to have any security guarantees because America's never looked weaker. America can protect the Arab nations. We can protect our Asian allies. Trump threatens our NATO allies. Like Ben Shapiro and anybody who thinks this way, in my opinion, is just completely, utterly deranged. Here, let's play this clip.
Totally agree with that. Now, on the complete opposite side of the coin is President Donald Trump. If you had to grade his leadership during this time in our country right now, what would you give him?
I mean, A+ right now. I mean, again, I think what you're watching him do in Iran is not only unprecedented in terms of its political courage. I think that it is and has the potential to be a true game changer for America's role in the world, not only for the next 10 or 20 years, but for the coming century. Because what he is doing is he's reasserting American authority in the world. He is saying that we are not a country that is receding inside our own borders. We're not a country that looks back at a beautiful past, but looks forward to kind of a sad future of decline. He's reinvigorating a vision of America strong on the world stage, and he understands on an innate gut level. The president's foreign policy has always been rooted in that peace through strength principle, in the idea that the best way to achieve peace is for people to understand that inside the velvet glove is an iron fist.
And finally, they have Lindsey Graham close out the show. And Lindsey Graham is basically like, when this is over, we're going to obliterate their nuclear program. Ha 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 ha. Here, play this clip.
Now, President Trump, thank God he was there. He's the right guy at the right time. And when he heard they were that close to 10 weapons, he acted. And you know what? When this is over, we're going to obliterate their nuclear program, and there's going to be a new dawn in the Mideast. President Trump, you did the right thing. God bless you. And Steve and Jared, you literally saved the world from terrorism.
You know, the sad part is,
Weird behavior, strange behavior. Anyway, let me all know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers, and thank you all for watching. We appreciate you.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.